On our wedding day, Ethan's longtime best friend, Chloe, snatched my bridal bouquet and began tearing off the petals, claiming she wanted to test me on his behalf. I knew she was up to her old tricks again. As expected, right after the pre-wedding antics concluded, she suddenly found the high heels I'd hidden under the duvet, pushed open the window, and threw them out. She giggled, twirling happily. "Ethan, look, no shoes. No wedding for you today." The bridesmaids behind me instantly fell silent, and whispers started, but I knew Chloe was just, once again, asserting her special priority in front of Ethan. Ethan walked over, his brows furrowed, yet without a word of reproach for her. He turned to me and smiled helplessly. "Audrey, put on the spare wedding shoes for now. Chloe is just messing around. Don't get upset and spoil the fun. Once the wedding is over, I'll buy you a new pair." He said this, and then, as he used to, tried to ruffle my hair. He expected me to smile and say it was okay, but this time, I just stared at Chloe, who was smirking behind him, and my voice was icy. "Either she apologizes, or I'm leaving. If you still think she's just messing around, then marry her today." The air froze. Ethan's smile stiffened on his face. He looked at me in disbelief. "Audrey, what's wrong with you today? Don't make a scene. Everyone is watching." He lowered his voice, and though he was trying to placate me, there was a strong hint of impatience. My bridesmaids, my best friends, were behind me, and they had long disliked Chloe. My best friend, Riley, stepped forward directly. "Ethan, are you out of your mind? Throwing wedding shoes out the window is messing around? Do you even want to get married today?" Another bridesmaid echoed, "Exactly. Who jokes like that? Apologize. She absolutely must apologize." Chloe's smile faded. She hid behind Ethan, peeking out with a wronged expression. "Audrey, I'm sorry. I just wanted to liven things up with you all. I didn't know you'd get so easily upset." She said sorry, but her eyes were full of defiance. That apology was more repulsive than no apology at all. Ethan immediately felt for her. He turned back and gently patted Chloe's shoulder. All right. She didn't mean it." He turned back to me, his brows furrowing even deeper. "Audrey, she's apologized. What more do you want? Do you have to make such a scene? Today is our big day." He was starting to blame me for another woman at our wedding. He was blaming me. I was trembling all over. My chest felt constricted. It had been this way for so many years. Every single time Chloe caused trouble, he cleaned it up. Chloe angered me. He told me to be magnanimous. I looked at him and suddenly laughed. "Ethan, I don't want anything," I said, clearly, word by word. "I just don't want to get married anymore." After saying that, I turned to my stunned bridesmaids and spoke. "Girls, help me take off this wedding dress. Tonight, we're going out for a celebratory dinner. My treat." My bridesmaids froze for a second, then erupted in cheers. "Yes, go. Audrey, don't marry him. Why keep a man like this around? Ditch him." Ethan's face went completely dark. He rushed forward, trying to grab my hand, but my bridesmaids haphazardly blocked him. "Audrey, are you crazy? You're the one who wanted to get married today." I ignored him and walked straight to the changing room. Behind me, Chloe's voice came, tinged with tears. "Ethan, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have joked with Audrey. I'll go get the shoes back." Then came Ethan's comforting, pained voice. "It's not your fault. She's making a big deal out of nothing." I stepped into the changing room, closed the door, and shut out the noise. I changed out of my wedding dress and back into my own clothes. The bridesmaids gathered around me, chattering as they helped me pack my things. "Audrey, you finally came to your senses. Ethan is a charmer who's everyone's friend but only truly warm to one, and one who only turns up the heat for Chloe. Seriously, throwing your wedding shoes? How could she even think of that? It's like she's cursing you, wishing you'd never walk through his door." I listened in silence, my inner hesitation vanishing instantly. My cell phone vibrated frantically. It was Ethan calling. I hung up immediately and blocked him. It was a seamless decision. Opening the door, I found chaos outside. Ethan's parents, Susan and David, stood in the center of the living room, their faces grim. Seeing me emerge, Ethan's mother, Susan, rushed forward, pointing a finger at my nose. "Audrey, what is the meaning of this? Our family is filled with guests today, and you just decide not to marry? How can you shame our family like this?" Before I could speak, my mother, Sarah stepped in front of me. Susan, that's not right at all. It was your family's longtime best friend who threw my daughter's wedding shoes out the window, and it was your son who blindly blamed my daughter. This marriage, we don't want it either. My father, Michael, also stood grim-faced nearby, clearly supporting my mother. Ethan's father, David, seeing the situation, stepped in to mediate. Oh dear, they're just kids playing around. Why take it so seriously? My dear in-laws, Audrey, please don't be angry. The scheduled ceremony time is almost here. It wouldn't be good to miss it. Dad, this isn't playing around. Ethan also yelled, his eyes red as he looked at me. Audrey, do you really have to do this? For such a small matter, are you throwing away our 7 years together? I looked at him, finding it utterly ridiculous. Ethan, it's 7 years, not 7 days. In these 7 years, Chloe, under the guise of being your longtime best friend, tore up my love letters, deleted my messages, and spread rumors at my part-time coffee shop that I was two-timing. Every single time, you dismissed it as a joke. I tolerated it, because I loved you. Today, on our wedding day, she threw away my wedding shoes in front of everyone, and you still call it messing around. Ethan, I'm tired. I don't want to tolerate it anymore. My voice wasn't loud, but every word carried clearly to everyone present. Ethan froze, his mouth agape, as if he wanted to say something. Just then, a man in a tailored black suit emerged from behind the crowd. He was tall, with a stern face, and an aura so powerful it was impossible to ignore. I recognized him, Marcus. He was Ethan's uncle. Though not blood-related to the Fu family, he was the grandson of Ethan's grandfather's comrade-in-arms, adopted as a godson by old Mr. Fu, holding extremely high seniority in the family, even had to respectfully address him as uncle. In his hand, he held my crystal high heel, the one that had been thrown downstairs and was now slightly caked with mud. Marcus's appearance brought an instant hush to the room. He didn't look at anyone. Walking straight up to me, he crouched down, pulled out a clean handkerchief, and meticulously wiped the dirt from the high heel. His movements were slow, deliberate. Everyone held their breath. After wiping it clean, he looked up, his deep gaze settling on my face. Does it still fit? His voice was deep and magnetic. I was stunned. Ethan's face flushed then paled. He stepped forward, his tone somewhat stiff. Uncle, what are you doing here? This is Audrey's wedding shoe. Marcus stood up, casting a faint glance at Ethan. Now, it's mine. With that, he carefully placed the shoe into a delicate velvet pouch, then turned to me. I'll take you home. His tone was not a question, but a statement. My mother, Sarah, seeing this, quickly nudged me. Audrey, hurry, thank Mr. Marcus. I snapped out of it and nodded, thank you. Ethan grew anxious. He tried to stop me, but Marcus's cold gaze pinned him in place. Ethan, as an elder, I'll remind you of something. Marcus's voice was not loud, but it carried an undeniable authority. Adults must take responsibility for their choices, especially for seeing clearly the people around them. He glanced pointedly at Chloe, who was hiding behind Ethan's mother, Susan. Chloe's face instantly went pale. Ethan's mother, Susan, started to say something, but swallowed her words the moment her eyes met Marcus's. In this family, no one dared to defy Marcus. I followed Marcus, walking out of the stifling hotel suite under the complex gazes of everyone present. Only after I got into Marcus's understated yet luxurious car did I truly relax. The car was filled with a faint cedarwood scent, which was very pleasant. Cry if you need to. Marcus handed me a pack of tissues. I shook my head, although my eyes were stinging. I couldn't shed a single tear. There's no greater sorrow than a heart that has died. Back home, the wedding scandal wasn't over. Ethan's mother, Susan, called, demanding the dowry. Audrey, you shameless woman. Breaking off the engagement has brought shame to our Fu family. Give me back the 300,000 dowry. Every single penny. Otherwise, I'll make life impossible for you in Sterling City. I clutched my cell phone, too furious to speak. Just as I felt helpless, my cell phone vibrated. It was a friend request. I am Marcus. I accepted. His message was simple. I'll cover the money for you first. Don't worry. Looking at that message, my tears finally broke free, falling in large drops onto my cell phone screen. Not from injustice, but from this belated kindness and respect from a stranger. Before I could reply, Ethan's mother, Susan called again. I instinctively answered, and her shrill scolding continued on the other end. You dare call for help? Audrey, I'm telling you, it won't matter who you bring. Before's mother, Susan, could curse for another moment. Marcus's calm voice was heard through the cell phone, and then the call was disconnected. I don't know what Marcus said to her, but that very evening, Ethan's father, David, personally came to our door with gifts. His demeanor extremely humble, not mentioning the dowry at all, only pleading for me to reconcile with Ethan. I simply had my parents ask him to leave. The next morning, there was a commotion downstairs. Ethan was actually blocking the street downstairs from my house. When he saw me pull open the curtains, he dropped to his knees with a thud. Audrey, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. Can we start over? This caused neighbors to peek out and point. I impassively pulled the curtains shut. Soon after, Chloe also sent messages, crying in every line about how Ethan had scolded her, saying I had ruined everything for her, and begging me to show mercy. I looked at these messages and felt only bitter irony. I ignored the scandal. My cell phone rang again. It was Marcus. Come downstairs. The voice on the other end was as concise and forceful as ever. I paused. I'm downstairs at your house. I'm taking you somewhere. With that, he hung up. I no longer paid attention to the Fu family's persistent attempts and simply changed my shoes and headed out. My father, Michael, stood at the door, blocking Ethan, who was trying to follow. My daughter said it's over with you all. I went downstairs, and Marcus's car was parked by the roadside. He leaned against the car door, dressed in casual clothes. His usual sharp business edge softened into something more gentle. Seeing me, he opened the car door. Get in. I got into the passenger seat and buckled my seatbelt. Where are we going? To clear your head. He started the car, driving smoothly away from that problematic place. When chased downstairs, he only saw the car's taillights disappearing in the distance. The car drove to a horse ranch in the suburbs. The environment here was secluded and the air was fresh. Marcus seemed to be a regular here. The staff respectfully led us in and brought out 2 horses. Marcus deftly swung onto a black horse, then extended his hand to me. Can you ride? I shook my head. I'll teach you. He pulled me onto the horse, settling me in front of him, his arms circling me as he held the reins. His warm chest pressed against my back, and a faint cedarwood scent enveloped me. My body felt a little stiff. He seemed to notice, and his voice softened. Don't be afraid. Relax. He guided the horse, slowly pacing across the grass. The sun was just right, the breeze gentle. My mood also brightened, little by little. Why are you helping me? I finally voiced the question in my heart. Midway, he took a call, his tone cold. The acquisition will proceed. No need to wait. After hanging up, he answered my earlier question. I've known you for a long time. I turned my head in surprise to look at him. 3 years ago, at Sterling University Library, you argued passionately to help a junior who had her seat taken. 2 years ago, during a downpour, you gave your umbrella to an old woman who didn't have one, running back to your dorm in the rain yourself. A year ago, during Ethan's company team building event, he got too drunk, and you carried him back to the hotel alone. I remembered every single thing he mentioned, but they were all trivial matters in my life. I never knew there was a pair of eyes quietly watching me all this time. That day, you were in your wedding dress, so beautiful, yet he didn't appreciate you. I was consumed by jealousy. He paused. My face felt hot. So, that day at the hotel, seeing how he treated you, Marcus's voice deepened. I couldn't hold back. It turned out he wasn't a saint. He was just standing up for me. This partiality came suddenly, crashing into me. We rode horses and talked a lot. From college anecdotes to post-work frustrations, I found that we had many common interests. We liked movies by the same director, and songs by the same indie band. In 7 years with Ethan, we had almost no topics of conversation besides arguments and Chloe. When we got home, it was already dark. Marcus walked me downstairs. Are you free tomorrow? He asked. Yes, I'll pick you up. Watching his car disappear into the night, my lips curved into an involuntary smile. The next day, Marcus took me to an art exhibition I had always wanted to see but never had the chance to. On the 3rd day, we went to the mountaintop to watch the sunrise. We dated, watched movies, and ate out, just like any couple in love. I didn't agree to anything, and he didn't pressure me. but we both had an unspoken understanding. Ethan didn't come looking for me again. I heard from my best friend, Riley, that the Fu family had become the laughingstock of the entire circle because of the wedding scandal. Ethan's company was also affected, with several projects being halted, and the one who halted these projects was Marcus's company. Riley exclaimed, "Audrey, you didn't just find an uncle. You found a major backer." I smiled, saying nothing. I knew Marcus was doing this not just to get revenge for me. He was telling everyone that I, Audrey, was someone he protected. The peaceful days didn't last long before they were broken by a phone call. It was Chloe calling. Her voice sounded very haggard. "Audrey, let's meet." I was about to refuse, but she continued, "It's about Marcus. I think you'll be interested." My heart sank. We met at a cafe. Chloe had lost a lot of weight, with heavy dark circles under her eyes, and her former arrogance was completely gone. "What do you want to say?" I got straight to the point. She stirred her coffee, a self-deprecating smile on her face. "You won, Audrey. Ethan. He wants to cut ties with me. He says I ruined everything for him. The family also kicked me out, and my parents can't show their faces to relatives because of me." I felt no sympathy for anything she said. She only had herself to blame. "That has nothing to do with me," I said coldly. "Yes, it has nothing to do with you. It's all my fault. I was too greedy." She looked up, her eyes filled with venom. "But don't get too ahead of yourself. Do you think Marcus is a good person? He approached you with ulterior motives." I frowned. "What do you mean? Don't you know? Marcus and the Fu family are sworn enemies. Marcus's father was ruined in business by Ethan's grandfather back then and eventually died of depression. He stayed in the Fu family all these years just for revenge. This time, he helped you and targeted Ethan. Not because of you at all. He was just using you as a pawn in his revenge against the Fu family. He knew all along that I would cause a scene at the wedding. He even fueled it from behind the scenes. The idea to throw the wedding shoes was hinted at by him." Chloe's words exploded in my mind like a bomb. I frowned, looking at her, trying to find any trace of a lie on her face, but her expression was one of desperate, reckless madness. "Don't believe me? I have proof." She took a voice recorder from her bag and pressed play. Marcus's conversation with her played. Marcus's voice spoke, "Ethan's weakness is you, and Audrey's weakness is Ethan. If you want to stop a wedding, you know what to do." Chloe's voice came with hesitation. "If I do this, Ethan will hate me." Marcus let out a cold laugh. "If he doesn't hate you now, he'll drift further and further away from you later. Your choice. You've caused trouble for so many years and never broke them up. Are you really willing to let Ethan marry Audrey?" The recording was short, but packed with information. My hands and feet turned ice cold, as if I'd fallen into an ice cave. All my previous emotions now felt like a joke. I thought I had found true love, but I had actually fallen into another man's gentle trap. Chloe looked at my pale face and smiled contentedly. "Audrey, we were both tricked by him. He's the most terrifying person." I turned off the voice recorder and stood up. "Thank you for telling me this." I turned and left, without a trace of hesitation. Chloe called out behind me, "Where are you going? Are you going to confront him?" I didn't answer. I needed to be alone. I didn't know where to go, so I just walked aimlessly down the street. My cell phone rang. It was Marcus. I hung up. He called again, and I hung up again. Finally, he sent a message. "I'm downstairs at your house. I know you met with Chloe. Let me explain." I looked at the message, my mind in turmoil. "Explain?" The recording was the best explanation. I replied with 2 words. "Liar." Then, I turned off my phone. I stayed in a hotel for 2 days. On the 3rd day, I turned on my cell phone and received countless messages and missed calls. There were calls from Ethan, from my parents, but most of all, from Marcus. His messages ranged from initial explanations to later worries. And finally, "Please, Audrey, please answer your phone. Where are you? I'm worried about you. I'm sorry." I looked at the "I'm sorry" and let out a cold laugh. I collected myself and went home. My parents breathed a huge sigh of relief when they saw me. "Audrey, where did you go?" "Mr. Marcus was frantic." I didn't speak, walking straight into my room to start packing. My mother, Sarah, stopped me. "What are you doing?" "Mom, I want to travel for a while." "Did you tell Mr. Marcus?" "We're over." My mother, Sarah, was stunned. She wanted to ask more, but my father, Michael, held her back. My father, Michael sighed. Let her go. It'll do her good to clear her head. I booked a plane ticket to the Rocky. I wanted to go to the place closest to the sky, to shake off all the dust from my heart. Just as I was dragging my suitcase out, a familiar figure stood downstairs. It was Marcus. He looked much more haggard. He saw the suitcase in my hand, and his eyes darkened. You're leaving? It has nothing to do with you. I walked around him, intending to hail a taxi by the roadside. He grabbed my wrist. Audrey, please hear me out. I've heard the recording. What more is there to explain? I tried to forcefully shake him off, but his grip tightened. Chloe only let you hear the first part. He took out his cell phone from his pocket and played a recording. It was still his conversation with Chloe. The beginning was identical to what Chloe had played for me, but there was another segment after that. It was Marcus's voice. And this is the last time I will tolerate you harming her. If it happens again, I will make you and your entire family disappear from Sterling City. I mean what I say. Killing intent was clear in those words. I was stunned. Marcus looked at me, the pain in his eyes unmistakable. Yes, I admit. At first, I approached and used you because I wanted revenge on the Fu family. The family caused my father's death. I couldn't possibly not seek revenge for that. I knew Chloe was Ethan's weakness, and I also knew you would definitely explode because of Chloe at the wedding. So, I went with the flow, allowing this scandal to escalate further. But I calculated everything, except for one thing, that I would fall for you. When you argued with someone to help a junior, when you carried an old woman home alone, my heart had already gone beyond my control. Using you was real, but loving you, that was real too. His voice was hoarse, every word spoken with immense difficulty. I looked at his bloodshot eyes. My heart stirred. Just then, an angry voice came from behind me. Marcus! You despicable villain! It was Ethan. He rushed out from somewhere and swung a punch at Marcus's face. Marcus didn't dodge. He took the punch squarely, and blood immediately appeared at the corner of his mouth. But he held my hand, never letting go. You used Audrey, and you dare say you love her. Ethan, acting frantically, tried to charge again. I stepped in front of Marcus. Enough. Ethan. Ethan's fist stopped in front of me. He looked at me in disbelief. Audrey, you're protecting him? I'm not protecting anyone. I looked at him and said, word by word, I just don't want to see your disgusting faces anymore. What right do you have to blame him? If it weren't for your repeated indulgence and fence-sitting, would things be like this today? You and Chloe, he and the Fu family, your grievances, why do you have to drag me into it? All of you. What do you take me for? A pawn to be manipulated at will? The more I spoke, the more agitated I became, and tears streamed down my face against my will. Ethan froze. Marcus also froze. He released my hand, his face filled with pain and self-reproach. Audrey, I'm sorry. I don't want your apologies. I yelled at him. Get out. All of you. I dragged my suitcase, not sparing them another glance, rushed to the roadside, and got into a taxi. Driver. To the airport. As the car started, I saw Marcus still standing there in the rearview mirror, his eyes fixed on the direction I was leaving. Ethan tried to chase after me, but he was firmly held back by his parents, Susan and David, who had arrived shortly after. What a spectacle. I closed my eyes, leaning against the seat, feeling utterly exhausted. At the airport, I changed my plane ticket to the earliest flight to Willow, the mountains. I didn't want to go anymore. I just wanted to find a quiet place where no one knew me, and stay there. In Creek's historic district, I rented a small room with a garden. Every day, I sunbathed, played with the cat, and read books. Life was quite pleasant. I got a new cell phone number, cutting off all ties with my past. I thought I could start a new life this way, until one day, half a month later, I saw a familiar figure on a cobblestone street in the historic district. No, not one, two. Ethan and Chloe. They looked very disheveled. Meanwhile, their creditor was sitting in a cafe not far away, leisurely sipping tea. It was Marcus. He was thinner and tanner, but his cool, distinguished demeanor hadn't changed at all. He seemed to sense my gaze and looked over in my direction. Our eyes met. My heart skipped a beat. Ethan and Chloe also noticed me. Chloe was the first to rush over, grabbing my arm and yelling excitedly, Audrey, please tell Marcus. Make him let us go. The family company went bankrupt. Our family was also ruined by him. Completely devastated. He's a devil. Ethan also came up. looking at me with complex emotions. Audrey, I know I wronged you before, but he's gone too far. Every wrong has its perpetrator, every debt its debtor. But why does he have to destroy everyone? I frowned and shook Chloe's hand off. Marcus walked over and naturally shielded me behind him. He looked at Ethan, his eyes cold. Destroy everyone? When your grandfather used despicable means to force my father to jump from a building to take over his company, why didn't you say destroy everyone then? When your father enjoyed wealth and luxury with my father's hard-earned money, why didn't you say destroy everyone then? I am merely taking back what rightfully belongs to me. Ethan was speechless, his face deathly pale. But what does that have to do with Chloe? Her family is innocent. Innocent? Marcus sneered. The one who helped your grandfather falsify accounts and ultimately caused my father's death was Chloe's father. Those two families are in this together. Neither of them can escape. Ethan and Chloe were both completely stunned. Clearly, this was the first time they had learned about this old story. It turned out that all the entanglement had been sown in the previous generation. No, that's impossible, Chloe mumbled, her face deathly pale. Marcus didn't pay them any more attention. He took my hand and asked in a low voice, "Did I scare you?" I shook my head. He said to me, "Let's go." I didn't refuse, letting him lead me away from the place. We walked slowly along the historic district's riverside. Neither of us spoke. After a long walk, he finally stopped and turned to look at me. "Audrey, I know you might not believe anything I say right now, but I still need to say it. Revenge on the Fu family was my only goal for the first half of my life, but meeting you is the biggest surprise of my life. If you can't accept me as I am, I won't pester you. I'll leave Willow and never appear before you again. I just ask one thing, please don't disappear on me again like last time. I'd go crazy." The deep affection and pain in his eyes did not seem feigned. I looked at him, my mind a tangled mess. I admit, I still had feelings for him, but between us, there was too much manipulation and animosity. "I need time," I said softly. Hearing that, his eyes instantly lit up. "Okay, I'll wait as long as it takes." From that day on, he truly didn't disturb me again, but he didn't go far. At the entrance of my garden, fresh milk and breakfast were left every morning. When I went for a walk, I would always happen to run into him. He would keep a comfortable distance, not saying a word, just quietly following behind me. I knew he was protecting me in his own way. Ethan and Chloe didn't appear again. I heard they had returned to Sterling City, facing a heap of trouble. Later, Riley managed to contact me and told me about their current situation. The family was completely ruined. Their house and cars were auctioned off to pay debts. Ethan's parents, Susan and David, aged dramatically overnight. Ethan found a demanding manual labor job, working like a dog every day. Chloe's fate was even worse. Her father was imprisoned because of the old matter resurfacing. As for her, she seemed to have developed mental issues and was sent to a hospital. After hearing all this, my heart felt no ripple. Karma caught up to them, that's all. After 3 months in Willow, I decided to return to Sterling City. Not for anyone, just because I felt that running away wouldn't solve anything. I needed to go back and face my own life. I didn't tell Marcus, but just as I was dragging my suitcase out of the garden, he appeared at the doorway. In his hand, he held a bouquet of sunflowers. "Welcome home," he said with a smile. In the sunlight, his smile was even brighter than the sunflowers. My heart, in that moment, surrendered again. We returned to Sterling City together. He never brought up the past grievances again, and I, with an unspoken understanding, didn't press him. We started over, like the most ordinary couple. He took me to meet his friends, formally introducing me to them. "This is Audrey, my fiancé." His friends teased us, but he just smiled, pulling me closer. My parents initially had some reservations about Marcus, but after several interactions, they slowly accepted him. They could see that Marcus genuinely cared for me. It was a kindness rooted in deep respect and affection, something I had never experienced in 7 years with Ethan. 6 months later, Marcus proposed to me, on a rooftop terrace where the stars were visible. He knelt on one knee, holding a sparkling diamond ring. "Audrey, I know my past was far from perfect, even quite bad, but I want to spend the rest of my life making amends for my mistakes and cherishing your perfection. Will you marry me?" I looked at the starlight in his eyes, smiled, and nodded. Tears, however, involuntarily streamed down my face. This time, they were tears of happiness. Our wedding was very low-key, with only our closest family and friends invited. No pre-wedding antics, no scandal. I wore a pure white wedding dress, holding my father's arm, walking step by step down the aisle towards the man waiting for me. He looked at me, his eyes filled with an overflowing love. As we exchanged rings, he held my hand and whispered in my ear, "Audrey, thank you for coming into my life." I smiled back, "Mr. Marcus, I look forward to our life together." Later, I coincidentally saw Ethan on a street corner. He was wearing oil-stained work clothes, eating a takeout meal by the roadside. The once spirited young man was now haggard and downcast. He seemed to have seen me, and Marcus beside me. He paused, then lowered his head, wolfing down the food in his bowl, as if trying to hide himself. Marcus put his arm around my shoulder and led me away from there. "It's all in the past," he said. "Yes, it's all in the past. All that hurt, that betrayal, that manipulation, it had all faded like smoke. And I had finally found the one who would wipe the dirt from my high heels, who would cherish me like a rare gem. The sun was just right, the years peaceful. This was my best ending." Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is Roses and Love, sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.